Welcome to today's explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to dive into this one because it flips our usual perspective literally upside down. Think about it. While the rest of the world is busy building upwards, reaching for the clouds with these massive gleaming skyscrapers, the ultra elite are doing something entirely different. They're spending vast fortunes to build downwards, boring deep, deep into the planet's bedrock. We're talking about the ultimate survival architecture here, places completely hidden from the public eye. So where do the world's elite go when the unthinkable happens? Picture a sudden, catastrophic global disaster striking tomorrow. In a matter of hours, those sprawling surface estates and glass-walled penthouses, they aren't safe anymore. In fact, they instantly become the most dangerous places you could possibly be. This entire explainer is all about the ultimate disappearing act. Where exactly do you hide when you have virtually unlimited resources and an urgent need to vanish from the face of the earth?
$500 million. Yeah, let that sink in for a second. That staggering number really sets the stage for everything we're going to discuss today. And by the way, that's just for a single Doomsday fortress. These aren't your grandpa's concrete storm shelters buried in a suburban backyard. These are absolute masterpieces of survival engineering that cost more than the entire gross domestic product of some small nations. It's a truly mind-bending figure, but to the people writing those checks, it buys the ultimate luxury. Absolute peace of mind.
Okay, let's dive into this incredible comparison. On the one hand, you have traditional, highly visible wealth. Take Mukesh Ambani's famous Antilia residence in Mumbai, valued at over $2 billion. It boldly reaches 27 stories up into the sky for everyone in the city to marvel at. But on the flip side, you have these ultra-luxury survival bunkers. They represent a totally different philosophy of wealth. Instead of towering above the skyline, they plunge hundreds of feet straight down into solid bedrock. It perfectly contrasts that desire to be seen against the secretive, hidden depth of a pure survivalist mindset. Section 1, Depth and Defense. So building one of these structures isn't just about digging a massive hole in the dirt, right? It's a highly calculated science. It's about figuring out exactly how deep you need to go to be unequivocally safe from the ultimate global threats. The crucial point here is understanding the specific, terrifying threat these bunkers are engineered to withstand. Take the B-82 nuclear warhead. This modern weapon is capable of destroying structures up to 1,000 feet underground. That is an almost incomprehensible amount of destructive power. It illustrates exactly why these bunkers require such extreme, meticulously calculated depth. You can't just be underground. You have to place your fortress entirely beneath the destruction zone of modern military weaponry. And to counter that kind of apocalyptic threat, the physical defenses have to be immense. We're talking about fortresses carved directly into solid mountain granite or completely retrofitted into abandoned military missile silos. The surrounding granite acts as this incredible natural shock absorber and shield. Then you add multi-ton steel slabs for doors. Doors so incredibly heavy and thick they can literally withstand a direct hit from a military tank. And if there happen to be any surface-level observation points, they use 5-inch thick ballistic glass that a sniper couldn't even dream of cracking. Section 2, the impossible life support. Now let's shift gears from the brute force of physical digging and shielding to something even more delicate and complex, the actual mechanics of breathing and surviving underground. When you build up into the sky, like the Burj Khalifa, your massive engineering challenge is battling 100-degree ambient heat outside the glass. But when you build down into a sealed cave, the challenge flips entirely. It becomes a battle of air pressure, managing carbon dioxide levels, and ensuring a continuous flow of breathable air. And this brilliantly illustrates the solution. Compare a Billionaire bunker directly to the United States presidential motorcade. They share the exact same elite DNA when it comes to threat response. Where the president's heavily armored limousine relies on onboard emergency oxygen cylinders to maintain air quality during an attack, these massive bunkers utilize advanced industrial scrubbers and continuous oxygen concentration systems. And for signal jamming, the motorcade uses specialized electronic countermeasures vans to block incoming bomb signals. The bunker, it just wrapped the entire living space in a massive Faraday cage. So let's see how this fits into their overall defense strategy. What exactly is a Faraday cage actually protecting against? Well, take the EMP, or electromagnetic pulse. This is a massive burst of electromagnetic energy, often triggered by a nuclear blast, that instantly fries and destroys unshielded electronics worldwide. By wrapping the bunker's interior in a Faraday cage, the ultra-elite ensure that their air scrubbers, their life-saving medical equipment, and their perimeter security cameras keep running perfectly, even if the entire electrical grid on the surface goes permanently dark. And here's the kicker. They don't just need those systems to run for a few days or weeks. 10 years. That is how long a wealthy family, along with their security and staff, can survive completely off-grid inside one of these facilities. 10 full years, without ever needing to unlock that tank-proof front door to access the surface. It's designed to be a completely self-contained, sealed ecosystem.
Now, surviving for a full decade requires some highly advanced invisible mechanics, particularly when it comes to sustenance, because you can't just stock up on 10 years' worth of freeze-dried military rations and expect to be comfortable. Instead, they rely on sprawling hydroponic farms, actively growing fresh vegetables and fruits, sustaining a completely renewable food source hundreds of feet deep, entirely without a single ray of natural sunlight. It is literally science fiction brought to life.
Section 3. Luxury in the depths. I want to lower the tone slightly here as we introduce what might be the most surreal and bizarre aspect of this entire underground world. Because simply surviving is one thing, right? But as we know from their surface lives, the world's elite do not do depressing. They fully intend to survive the apocalypse in uncompromising style. The sheer, unbelievable excess is staggering. These aren't Spartan, concrete military barracks. We're talking about 5-star apocalypse amenities, full-scale movie theaters capable of seating 50 people, massive, private, fully equipped luxury gyms, specialized snow rooms complete with artificial snow generators, and simulated digital windows. Every single one of these features is meticulously designed to trick the human brain, to prevent cabin fever, and to maintain a sense of absolute normalcy in the most abnormal situation imaginable. Let's look a little closer at these psychological tricks. You've got these digital windows streaming ultra-high-definition live feeds of a beautiful, sunny beach in Hawaii, or a pristine, peaceful forest in Switzerland. Or, hey, you can step into a snow room to experience a magical winter wonderland, perfectly chilled, while the actual temperature outside the bunker in the rock might be 50 degrees. There is a tasteful, almost haunting irony here. You're sitting deep underground, sipping a drink, and enjoying a fake digital Hawaiian sunset or artificial snow, while the real world directly above you might literally be an uninhabitable wasteland.
Section 4. The price of survival. Let's slow the pacing down significantly for a moment and ask a deeper philosophical question. What does all this massive engineering and investment actually mean in the grand scheme of things? Think about other massive, ambitious projects for a second. Take Dubai's $14 billion man-made islands. It was a massive dream, an incredible feat of modern engineering. Yet many were eventually engulfed by the sea and left completely empty due to financial shifts and unforeseen crises. Is the Doomsday bunker headed for a similar conceptual fate? I mean, it's certainly the ultimate insurance policy, but when you pour $500 million into a hole in the ground, you have to genuinely wonder if the massive investment is truly worth it if you never have to use it, or perhaps worse, if you actually do.
Listen to this quote and really let it land. They are built for a world that no longer exists. This is the heavy, heart-wrenching reality and the ultimate paradox of extreme survivalism. If you ever reach the point where you actually have to seal yourself inside this bunker, the society, the financial systems, and the beautiful world that allowed you to build it in the first place, they'll be gone forever. You are ultimately surviving in a luxurious tomb, simply waiting out the clock on a planet you can no longer recognize. Which leaves us with this final, incredibly provocative thought: skyscraper in the clouds or hidden deep underground. If you had billions of dollars at your disposal right this second, where would you build your legacy? Would you build a glittering skyscraper high up in the clouds for the whole world to marvel at? Or would you hide your wealth and yourself deep underground where no one could ever find you? It's the ultimate question of human optimism versus ultimate preparation. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I hope it gave you a fascinating new perspective on the invisible fortresses right beneath our feet. Keep learning, keep questioning, and I will see you next time.